can someone try and find Lorcan's laptop for us?
Welcome everybody here to the sunny fields of the University of Limerick. It is my distinct pleasure and privilege to welcome you into the booth here with ULTI.TV. I am Lorcan Murray and I am joined by the one, the only, the pride, the glory, Benjamin Rees. Benji, this could be a fiery affair, I'm told.
Now, I'm not a tactical expert, but I feel like Italy have got too many players on the line there. It is Italy versus Hungary. I think some of the build-up, maybe a bit unfairly, has been placed squarely on the two, what's the word I'm going to say? Infamous coaching figures. Davide Mori for the Italians and the famous Zoltan Erdős for Hungary. But these are two very young sides who are out here with a point to prove.
Both very much in their developmental stages. Half of this Hungarian team won gold at World Under-20s last year in the mixed division.
Hey, some of them won gold at Under-17s last year in the mixed division at JJUC. So, you know, they've already got that taste of championship glory, but they found things a little harder to come by so far this week. Both of these sides have played 2 games. This is their final game in Pool B. They've both gone down to Great Britain. 15-9, Italy lost, were 15-3. Great Britain beat Hungary. And in their games against Latvia, Italy won 15-12, while Hungary lost 15-10. Hungary, I think even with a win here, will finish bottom of the pool. And so they will be in the lower power pool. And for Italy, of course, they're just trying to improve their standing going into the top power pool alongside Latvia and Great Britain. And the top 3 sides from Pool D.
So plenty to play for in the early exchanges of this tournament, but an awful lot of it relates back to how can you prepare yourself for what's yet to come. And for Hungary, that's many more tournaments at this level. Chiba immediately picks it up and shoots, but couldn't connect on the other end. So a quick turnover for the Hungarians.
If you weren't aware that the Hungarians play without fear, there is a warning to you, because they will take any shot they think is available. The style's often described as a bit unorthodox, and that one, just the high release flick, instantly put deep. It's a tough catch there at the back of the end zone, and they couldn't quite stick it. I would tell you who it was, but I'll admit the numbers on these jerseys are very difficult to make out. Thanks, Hungary.
Fantastic grab by Gatti. Looked like it was going to go all kinds of the wrong direction, but able to get it. And there's a drop early on. So both teams with some perhaps early game jitters here, Benj?
Yeah, maybe some live stream nerves perhaps. Or maybe not, as straight away the verticality on the hammer into the end zone. Again, Hungary do not play with fear. They will go out there and they will rip it if they think that it is on. And there's a lot of stuff that we won't think is on, and they will. And they will prove us wrong. Chiba with the score to Abu Chilag, who I think was the stats leader for the mixed division last year at JJUC in the under-20s.
So we can see
Will, timer.
in London these days, and throwing to the always available Chilag.
I wonder if we see Chiba maybe play his trade on UK shores, or whether he's going to still commit to playing with his old teammates in Hungary.
An interesting question, and one I'm certain a few coaches in London will be asking as well, after watching some of the incredibly impressive plays he's made so far. But right now we are talking about the Italians. Capucci sends it down the line, and quick play from the Italians, looking to shoot to the end zone, and collected rather comfortably, it must be said, by Barzazzi.
Speaking of people that have tasted gold in the youth divisions, Barzazzi caught the winning score to seal gold for the Italians at EYUC back in 20... When were we in Wrocław? 2019?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, that tracks. So he, again, and that was the under-20 open division. So he has experience, you know, winning gold, and he's played at the very highest level in Europe demonstrated exactly what he was all about last week in Nottingham at under-24s, as pretty much all of this Italian roster did. There were debates about whether they enter them into mixed at under-24s, but no, they went single gender there, but they've pulled this talent together to play mixed here at EUC here in Limerick and try and maybe build a bit more of a tradition of Italian mixed, following up on, because there are some good mixed players and there is that appetite to play mixed in Italy that I think people sometimes underestimate. Alligators Massey, another Bologna outfit, they finished 17th at World Clubs in Cincinnati last year. So, they are players who are showing that, look, we are not just a single gender country. We want to play mixed and we're good at it.
Pastendorf throwing up a massive one. There's going to be a little bit of contact, I think, understandably. Pakshahi gets the uncontested foul, so we'll get to pick it up in the front of the end zone. Pastendorf with a big shot downfield, and about every Hungarian cutter went deep for her. So Pakshahi looking for someone to become available. He's only looking at the end zone, floats it all the way around, and collected on the opposite side. Nicely done. Brought in by Hart Ai.
Again, we look at things from Hungary, and it seems, that was like everyone went deep at the same time, and it worked with Ragusa losing his footing. Brought down Pakshahi, and then rolling across the end zone there into Hart Ai. 2-1 Hungary lead, and at the moment their offense seems like it's maybe not perfect, but it's clear that the game plan is we do not fear the deep shots. We are going to take those on, and we are going to make you try and defend those. And so far, Italy have struggled. The turnover Hungary had wasn't because the Italians got the block. It was just a tight, tough grab at the back of the end zone. Hungary is going to shoot.
And we are going to watch it. It's already a little bit of an exciting affair so far. A couple of close shots. I'm sure both sides would like to get a little bit closer to each other on the defensive end, but it all remains to be seen. There's Fantini working in the backfield against his Hungarian zone. A lovely push pass over the top to Barzazzi. Putting a little bit of zazz, but that time getting too complacent. And Pakshahi was right there to slam that door shut.
Yeah, that one is just a little bit greedy, I think. It was a pass that wasn't necessarily going to help them that much and was certainly not open as Capucci comes from around the backside to get the block.
Really great defensive pressure on the corner and a shot immediately looking for Barzazzi one more time. And those Hungarians can't even get close. Man, he makes it look easy.
I mean, Poltok has got a live arm. He was part of that Alligators side that took some names out in Cincy last year, and he is more than happy to shoot to Barzazzi. And I mean, heck, why wouldn't you be? One of the big questions for me for Hungary is who have they got who's going to be able to stop it? Because at the moment, I'm not sure they have anyone. Here was the turnover. Just got a little bit greedy. And to Pakshahi's credit, he did get in there. The diminutive Capucci. And, I mean, it feels like she's a foot shorter than I am. And I am not tall.
Knee high to a sand mouse, as they say back in the old country.
This is the old country. I've never heard anyone say that. But, hey, you don't need to be the bigger player in order to get the blocks if you have that appetite and you read the play well, as she did there.
Great hustle, great attention, and something that we know to expect.
Will, timeout. Will, timeout.
Will we see more of it on the other side, as it is currently 2-2 between Italy and Hungary? Welcome back here to the University of Limerick and this scintillating matchup between two uprising teams, the Italian mixed and the Hungarian mixed sides.
Italy, of course, entering teams in all three divisions. This is the only outfit for the Hungarians this time around. Of course, the Hungary were the host nation for the last European Ultimate Championships out in Győr, and I think the Hungarians, they completely revamped their national team programs, put a lot of focus into youth, into schools, and I think it was a decision that was not without some controversy, but I think they've also not been shy about the fact that it wasn't about the result in Győr. It's not even necessarily about the result here. They're looking at 4 years' time as well.
As we're looking at them throwing deep with aplomb and abandon, can they collect huge bid on the other end? But not able to get there. Fantastic positioning by the Italians. They don't mind shooting deep.
Meaty, please, Rob. Meaty, please.
Now the Italians with a chance of a break of their own.
That's all right.
Own big as well. I mean, guns are drawn here today.
I mean, Ferenc Clement is only 16, but he's a big body and he's more than capable of a big play. It is bombs away out here in Limerick.
So Pastendorf walks over to pick up the disc. Chilak makes the first move, and it is a deep cut.
Shock.
Bit of contact in the dump cutting position. And Pastendorf tries to launch it, but just a bit too hard at Clement.
Yeah, I think this is one of the interesting things. It's going to be about the coaching adjustments that are made during the game, because I think part of the reason we saw that timeout taken was so that Italy can work out, okay, we know what the plan is here. What are we going to do to really not just, prevent the deep shots from coming off, but even persuade them from going up in the first place?
As getting it on the second chance, the bobble and the catch, Baltieri. Then goes for the inside shot, able to get it down the line. The Italians being a bit more conservative this time around. Taking their time, not forcing anything. Ferrero, Baltieri. Or Beraldi, sorry. Beraldi can't get it off to Ferrero. Throws it around Baltieri, but able to get it on the opposite side of that. And receives it back, so they're taking their time. There's some inside breaks, some little bumps in the air, but not forcing anything too spectacular. Trying to show they can get it done on the conservative side. Baltieri, very important, getting almost every second pass at this point. Tries to launch it across, just about caught, brought in by Gatti, and then couldn't get the return.
D-line offense was looking pretty good until that point, but it happens so often, not just for D-lines, but for O-lines as well, that when space gets at a premium in the red zone, teams struggle to find their flow, and Hungary taking the timeout from the stop discs here. And I'm not sure about this because they walked to it quite quickly to take the timeout. Why not just, go for it? If you want to get something specific set up, why not just do it off a slow pickup? Because that way you can get your offense initiating before the disc is checked in, as opposed to a timeout when it often takes a couple of seconds just to get people moving.
I mean, it might just be a simple situation of I'm going to run here, and if the hook is on, I'll take it, and if it isn't, I'll call a timeout for what I assume is going to be some kind of huck play. On the other side, as we have another look at that turnover, a little bit unfortunate. The Italians have been bringing it together really well. Beraldi have been fantastic throughout that point with the inside breaks and several different receivers on the other side.
Right. What do Hungary have that isn't just the deep shots? Because they are athletic, and boy, can they bomb it, but you've got to have multiple elements to your game, because against good sides, they'll spot that pretty quickly, and they will do their utmost to shut it down. And yes, you've still got to kind of sprinkle it in there, but you need to have plan B, C, all the way through the alphabet. You cannot just have one key idea.
Running a tournament in Limerick is an awful lot like playing a tournament in Limerick. You need multiple options. You need to have backup plans. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again, or the rain will come and wash you out. Right now, though, things are pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, actually, we heard that last night on Limerick Late Night Live from 55 with TD's Liam Grant and Barry Walsh in here explaining that, one of the things about running a tournament that they found a massive event like World Masters Clubs last year is that you need to have so many backup patterns in place, because it's a yogiism. It's like anything can happen, and it usually does.
And they go with the under initially instead. Clement doesn't like the uprushing handler move. Tries to get it back on the second ask. Looking for Chilag. Gets it to him. Baltieri on the mark. Chilag Doesn't want Pastendorf. He's going to have to throw it to somebody. Eventually he's able to get it to Kolar Naj. Kolar Naj with a nice break across to Clement. Thinks about absolutely sending another one, but decides against it in the end. Arcs it up instead. Caught by Chiba. So this is better. You were looking for something else from them, Benji, and they've got some nice break throws, some nice swings. Pastendorf. Wastes no time with the shot to the end zone, and what a fantastic grab. Excellent stuff by Halas.
I mean, fair play. Sometimes you just stick your hands up and say, that is something a little bit special, that grab there from Halas. Again, it's not, the straight, we'll just pick it up and jack it. There was a bit more of an element of control about their offense that time. It seemed like once the look wasn't there, they had other options, and Pastendorf is a supreme thrower. But this one is really zinged in there. And boy, did Halas answer the call.
Pastendorf with the hockey assist earlier on that big time shot all the way down the field. And this time actually able to get the assist herself as well. So showing that they can reset, they can recycle, they can reuse the similar options.
It's crazy
in the end.
It's crazy to me to think that Pastendorf had no goals or assists coming into this game, because you're seeing right there what they're capable of.
So Hungary with one of the shorter teams, shorter lines, I mean. So a lot of the same players are going to have to step out here, going to have to pull a lot of duty, and again it's the zone. How will Italy respond? Trying to find that way through it. Not forced too much initially.
Interestingly, you can see that they've decided to get a big, long presence on the mark there in Ben's Todd, because the idea is you want to put a lot more pressure on the thrower and, don't let them get those easy throws off, even if they're only a couple of meters.
I really like that look as well. Put one of your tallest players on the force, and it looked like it was going to be a block. There's going to be a foul called on that one. The run-through heads-up play. Nicely done by Pak Shai.
I think actually it was, you're right. It's, Luca Pak Shai, as she comes through, just gets Ruscello from behind.
The brother and sister on this team together. Ruscello sends that back into the center. Is Italy not looking to force too much initially? Just Varotto working well. Just trying to pass it around, take it easy until those options become available.
I thought you undersold Bartzassi for a sec.
And then there's the shot for the quick finish and the goal. So all about finding your spot and then taking on something a little bit more adventurous to great effect.
I mean, with these zones, when you've got so many players committed near the disc, there's always going to be numerical mismatches elsewhere. It's a question of, can you get those defenders downfield split? Can you find the spaces? Here was that lofted shot that Ruscello brought down well, and then, whoop, just popped out on the way through. Fantini, who I was so impressed with at U24, was ripping the hammer just that over Hartai. And then close to the end zone, Italy didn't look flustered, didn't look worried, just found the simple scoring shot back into Ruscello to level us up at 3 apiece. Italy's O-line still yet to turn it over. Much better performance for them after they struggled a little bit in their first half against Great Britain in the game we streamed yesterday. They were better after the break. They certainly generated more pressure defensively, but I think they were probably cognizant of the fact that they've still got room to improve this week.
And talking to Chech before the game, one of their coaches, he was saying how they had to have a discussion yesterday at the end of the day. They didn't feel quite right. They didn't feel too happy with what they'd done. They wanted to reassess, reposition themselves, and coming into this game feeling very strongly about where they're going, what they're capable of, and they didn't get the chance to show off all of their weapons. And I gotta say, they were able to beat Latvia yesterday as well, so they certainly showed off a decent amount of them, but so much more left in the arsenal, and we're here to enjoy it all.
Yeah, Euros isn't one at the start of the week, it's one at the end.
Pak Shai got that back to Pastendorf. Pastendorf centers into the middle. I'm waiting for it. And there's another overthrow. So the Hungarians have had a few turnovers. They've been able to get them back so far. Can this Italian D-line make the difference this time? As that was just a little bit risky and turned over in the end. So Hungary really quick back at it.
the Italian D-line, I think, need to be more clinical because that's their fourth opportunity, and they are going to generate blocks, but eventually you've got to punch them in. Another good deep D there.
Brini has made some great defensive plays. Can they turn things up on the offensive side? Saw Hungary immediately go back to that huck. Good shot over the top. Segusa almost threw that one into the ground. Brini has options behind. And that's a nice little bit of give-go play. Tempted to set up the deep shot. Instead, they just reload, pull the zone forward once more. And then the swing, but they don't complete the whole move to the near sideline. But they are moving incredibly quickly in and out of the cups, and then that throw perhaps a little bit too fast.
It didn't need to go, and especially he's showing the underside of the disc to the wind as well, so that is going to pop it up. They get through the first line nicely, and then they rush things. Just need to take just a breath, I think, at points.
That was really great vision to get that disc to Seradash on the sideline. Big arcing pass. That stall count's getting very high for Pakshayi. But a fantastic blade, or not blade, but flick across to Pastendorf. Pastendorf doesn't launch it. Instead, Pakshayi working with her brother. On the far sideline, looking to send it back. And great defensive pressure. I think all credit there has to go to Nicole Baiocchi.
Didn't get a hand on it. Didn't need to, just flashing late across that field of vision, and it made Hungarian eyes kind of wander and cause the drop.
So Santorini in his own end zone for the D-line as Brini gets it, or Ragusa, sorry, they're still looking to try and find a way out of this situation. Santorini.
There's no vertical element to their spacing at the moment. It's all so compressed by the disc.
Santorini is able to chase that one down, and Gatti comes back and collects it, just thrown a little bit behind her. She's done a great job of being in that midfield position against this zone, but some of the throws have been errant as they launch one deep. Will it stay in bounds? Big battle underneath, and Brini comes down with it. Fantastic stuff. Now takes the nice easy dump option as it becomes available. Gaglione and their Ragusa working awfully quick together with each other. Gaglione gets onto Santorini. Puts it back into the middle. Ragusa not forcing anything. Gaglione. Ragusa. Just
Hungary staying set in their zone here all the way into the end zone. They are not going to break this.
So Ragusa and Santorini and Brini, they're going to have to just keep doing these little pops. Not forcing too much, not trying to be too ambitious. And right when it did start to stretch themselves, in response, Ragusa stretched himself out and got the collection. Now for the quick play across and the pop in for the score and the break. Finished off by Gianluca Santorini.
This is the interesting thing for me, that Italy are putting passes that don't need to go, A, because they're into maybe windows that are too tight, and B, because they can just move the disc really nicely anyway. They don't need to put themselves under so much pressure, because Hungary are letting them swing the disc relatively freely, and eventually, if they keep that disc moving, those more open spaces will appear, but everything was very close and congested near the end zone. You felt like a huck was coming, and boy, was it brought down there by Mattia Brini, and a couple of other dicey moments on that possession. At the fifth time of asking, the Italian D-line finally finds their first break, and the first break of the game, taking a 4-3 lead.
There was a couple of moments with close chances for the Hungarians to earn that one back. Nicole Baiocchi, we're going to give her a block stat for that play down in that front corner, and then full pitch, one end zone to the other. Really has to be commended. Had to get a little bit lucky, had to rely on the impressive athleticism of Brini to take it down from that deep shot, but that's why you have him out there. And then conservative again when in front of the end zone, actually able to punch it in, really showing an experience and depth of intelligence to this Italian side and reflecting what they were hoping to achieve today, which is all about repositioning themselves to launch back and show what they are truly capable of at this level. So the Hungarian O-line making some adjustments. Like you said, Benji, the shortest roster, the smallest number of players of any team at this tournament?
Yeah, I think so. It's 7 female matching players and 8 male matching players. So just 15 in all, 2 lines worth. I appreciate what they're trying to build here, but I think even if you're having players who are not going to play big roles, especially with a young team, I'd probably like to get more people involved.
To have them as a presence there, to have them as options should people go down?
Bit of both. Again, partly getting them that championship experience. You know, there will be players who won those under 17, under 20 divisions who aren't here, and there might be multiple reasons as to why. But also, yes, you know, should you get, when you bring such a small roster, you know, players may be a bit more prone to injuries, and those impacts on those injuries are more keenly felt as well. And you get thinner and thinner, the workload gets higher and higher, and all of a sudden you're, really in a bit of a pinch.
Right now they're going to need to get an offensive hold to avoid being in a bit of a pinch in this game alone. Big arcing blade all the way around. Most of the defenders left absolutely irrelevant by that play. Chilag waits for the uprush. It comes in the form of Clement. Probably thinking about sending another one of those. That's a very impressive throw. Chilag gets himself in the same position he was last time. There isn't really a defender near him. Clement turns it down. Pastendorf with a nice little breakthrough. Clement collects. Chilag's still in that back corner, just calling for it. Just throw it to me. Pastendorf showing their range of throwing abilities, and that time perhaps rushing it a little bit on the part of Clement and overthrowing the receiver.
Yeah, Nani didn't know much about that, but a case of right place, right time, as here's the deep shot from the Italians.
So great positioning by Clement to get in front of Baltieri and take that down, but then immediately throw it away. Gatti's able to collect, and the Italians come right back. So a bit of huck and D in each direction, perhaps. Baltieri. Baraldi. Currently they've got match defense, but a bit of a mismatch as that one just bounces out of the hands. So Hungary get another look at it. This time it will be Kolar-Nagy picking it up. And across the Chiba. Kolar-Nagy. Kolar-Nagy has played most of the points so far in this game as well.
Yeah, she will do. She's been key for them all the way through the age divisions. And, hey, even playing EUC last time out as a 14-year-old, I think.
And there's the big shot downfield. It's well weighted and chased down. And collected for the break. Alessio Baltieri.
Another break for the Italians. 3 scores on the bounce now. And Hungary's O-line has a lot of room for improvement. They've only had 1 clean hold, and that was essentially just a deep shot pretty much instantly. And now that Italy have adjusted to take that away, Hungary are maybe struggling to make those counter changes. And Italy's D-line has finally got a little bit of form going.
Alessandro Nani sent that one down the line and asked a lot of Baltieri, but got a comprehensive response from the young Italian. Laying out big and pulling it in and showing off a little bit for our cameras. And that's what we like to see, is understandably both these teams are going to enjoy a timeout after the 3-point run from Italy to put them up 5-3.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member
and fund our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back, everybody, to this scintillating matchup of young, rising talent in the mixed division, as we are seeing the Italians take on the Hungarians. and it is quite the pedigree of youth experience. A lot of under-24s represented on the Italian side, and a fine jangling collection of gold medals at both under-20 and under-17 level represented on the Hungarian side. So two upcoming titans battling it out, and we just get to see a little snapshot of the future here today. And right now what we've seen is the Italians going on an impressive 3-point run, a hold and 2 breaks, starting to show their ability to adjust to the Hungarian shape and ask extra questions of that offense. So this comes rolling down. And again, Kolernaj, like you said earlier on, Benji, so crucial to so much positive work for the Hungarians. As the high release backhand break, the quick check by Chilak to make sure he's still in bounds. Just about. And he goes for an arcing inside out. That was visionary to Pastendorf. Found the space and found the target. Brilliantly done. And then the high release backhand over the top and brought in nicely by Lurvig. So perfect start after that timeout.
That's what you want to see. Timeouts used effectively to make those adjustments and put them into play. It's easier said than done.
And that time, using the space in the width rather than just immediately looking downfield, trying to find where their players are isolated, where Italy are sacrificing coverage in exchange for pressure, and that's where they were able to send it to. That throw from Chilak, the inside-out flick to Pastendorf, was a thing of beauty.
They do have those really creative options, and they've got, you know, strong throwers who are unafraid to take it on. And I think sometimes maybe they just get a bit tunnel visioned on going for the deep options.
I think anybody who's ever been on the pitch can understand that experience. Sometimes you just get your eyes locked on one thing, especially when it's worked so effectively for these players before. But that's a huge part about coming to this level and having to take that next step up. Okay, so you've won at the junior level. Can you now come to seniors and play against people who've been doing this for a very long time?
I think the other thing to think about now is they've managed to get their D-line back on the field. We haven't seen the Italian O-line for a few points, and they've yet to turn it over. So I wonder if during that timeout they were maybe working on something a bit different defensively as well to go to.
So we've seen a little bit of the zone, but we know that they generally favor that.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be that again.
With perhaps a slight variation.
Yeah, they're poaching the handler on that far side in favour of 2 close to the disc. And they left that one wide open through the middle.
Quickly taken by Fantini. Up-rushing handler to jump through the marks. And it's nice little bit of teamwork. The wing is pulled out of position. Poltak measuring, thinking about doing something a little bit spectacular. Goes conservative this time. Fantini. And another high release backhand. Those high release backhands out of Ruscello, quite effective. Varotto. Back to Fantini. Fantini is able to get to the far sideline. I thought he was aiming for Poltak, but it was a nice fake. Now it winds up in Poltak's hands anyway. Varotto makes the big sweeping cut back around. So you can see so much confidence in these Italian movement and their swinging. Not looking to force anything right now, but just finding little gaps, attacking them with their body, and then the throws. That one was ever so close to being fatal, but holding on for dear life. And now they're on the opposite side. Poltak doesn't want to take that shot through the middle. Fantini does, and at the second time of asking, I mean, that was a lot required of Capucci on that one.
Yeah, going just with the quick offhand, trying to punch it in there quickly. And maybe could have just done with holding that back a touch.
She made one incredible grab as we see a big shot down, but is it going to hit the dirt too soon?
Never gave Halas a shot at it. I was going to double check it was Halas as she jogged past us again. The black numbers, like against the Hungarian flag on the back of the jersey, are quite difficult to pick out. You look like you're having some problem with some wasps.
It's not going great, but it is on the pitch right now. The Italians, that's their first turnover from the O-line, so something for Hungary to take into account as Poltak tries to launch one all the way down. Ruscello's going to chase it, but understandably gives up after a little while.
Yeah, I mean, the wind's not particularly strong, but it is still pushing it out the back of that end zone. So just put a little bit more loft and sit on that, give Rocello a chance to get there.
It's always a tough throw to measure.
Has Ireland historically had a problem with wasps?
No, things got better once they all moved to America.
I set them up, you knock them down.
We'll get you recruited yet. Saloki goes with a big shot across. Great aggression and read from Pashai. And then perhaps maybe a little bit too aggressive as he launches it deep himself. Lots of bodies underneath it. It's always fading. It's always falling. But it is collected somehow by Saloki. So he got saved a little by Pashai and then returns the favor. As now we see it on this near sideline. And Hartai can't quite get off. Eventually gets it back to Kalarnaj. Kalarnaj launches the blade. It's searing, it's sending, and it's collected for the score. Pashai.
I did not see that same window that Melinda Kalarnaj did, but Hungary have got the break, still trailing one break down. You are really having problems with those wasps now, mate. Go and get yourself away for a bit. But I think a couple of times they made slightly rushed decisions and some execution errors that got bailed out, and this one just sees that space, puts the blade up nice on early as well, gets the edge to take it around the defenders into the goal. And Kalarnaj is going to need to have a big game for them if they are to win this game and just kind of continue to play well throughout the week, because we mentioned there's only 15 players on the roster and there will be a lot of players who are doing a lot of heavy lifting. So, you know, if you want to keep those players fresh as possible, you've got to try and get points finished quickly.
And the word you used to describe earlier on, the Hungarian team, fearless. And that's exactly what they are. Those 3 shots could be debated after the fact, but in the moment, they all worked out, and it was some really impressive stuff, especially the read by Saloki to get that hanging one.
I mean, that was a proper, you know, massive humanity underneath it. A quote-unquote hospital pass, maybe, if ever you've seen it. But it was a really good read. He didn't get sucked into the pack there. Trusted his eyes.
And his education, showing off his ability to track that disc through the air. So, tied back up. That timeout working to great effect. It was 5-3, and then the pressure mounting perhaps just a little bit more. So now Hungary with a bit of a gift.
That's a bad miss.
Pashai. Nope. No, I'm right. Yep, Pashai going to pick it up.
Definitely the Pashai you thought it was as well.
Yep. Martin Pashai. Front of the end zone. What are they going to look for? An immediate isolation? They've put their 3 female matching players in the end zone. There's the scoop around. And there's going to be a foul called. I thought that was fantastic heads-up defense initially by Varotto. Great number.
They're going to have the discussion here. Again, you can see they put those 3 in the end zone, cleared everyone else out, taking advantage of the face mark to roll it around. I'm not sure about this one. I feel like Varotto was firmly in position, and she didn't necessarily have eyes on the disc, but to say that she initiated the contact there, obviously we only see it from, you know, our angle, but I'm not convinced.
As Halas and Varotto have the conversation. I understand when you're face marking someone, it can be quite difficult to avoid that contact to a certain extent, especially when they're attacking into one space, because the whole point about face marking is that you are using your body to protect half of the end zone. You're using your legs to protect the other half. But in that instance, certainly from our limited angle, it seemed like it's a bit of a drop more than a foul, but it's going to go back on the contested foul. Pashai gets another go.
I wonder if they look for it again.
And
Nope.
he just immediately pops it over to his sister for the score, the break, and the lead. 6-5.
3-point run from Italy to take the lead, and then a 3-point run from Hungary to win it back that time through the cruelest of turnovers, the drop pull from the usually so reliable Andrea Fantini. That's a point that he will not necessarily want to relive, and you see this a lot actually with young sides, is that they can be streaky, you know. They will have times when everything clicks and they look unstoppable, and they'll have other points when, you know, maybe you could say that it's some of the mental side that goes, or maybe just a lack of experience. The errors creep in, and you will go, you know, you will have strange drops, throwing errors, decision makings. But part of the reason you put those players out there is so they can learn. You know, it's a skill to find ways to flip the script when things are not going your way.
It's part of the reason why I love watching this sport as well, Benji. When things are getting a little bit wild, that's when we are entertained. And some of these shots we've seen the teams put up early on have been very entertaining indeed. I thought the Hungarians were just going to watch the Italians slowly pull further and further away from them as the game went on. But in fact, they have responded very effectively with the hold. Then a couple of risky shots, but ultimately to the good and finally able to take advantage in that red zone. A lot of people struggle to cash in those drop pulls at times, especially the younger sides, because they try to force it. But it's very clear that the Hungarians have a defined approach in that situation and used it to full effect. So now, how can Italy respond? Once again, coming up against this zone. Really quick rushing through play. Poltok is absolutely racing down the pitch. There's the shot to Barzazi. Will he get there in time? Yes.
I mean, that was poetry in motion there from the Italians, a sonnet of which Petrarch would be proud. Have a look at it again on the replay, because I'm certainly going to enjoy it. That throw and go. Poltok just gets the bounce back from Capucci, leading, and I thought the give-go was going to go back to Poltok there, but Ruscello knew better than I did, and that inside-out backhand across the field could not have been weighted any better. Hitting Bartzassi right in stride for his third goal of the game. That is how you don't just beat a zone. That's how you destroy it.
That's the kind of offense that makes them put the zone back in the box and go, all right, well, we tried it. That was, we left the game. We tried it.
The thing is, like, it's so clear that that's the defensive game plan. And yes, they'll probably have a kind of different zone looks that they can shuffle through. But you've got to continually find ways to, again, make counter adjustments. And if that is the game plan, at what point do you think, actually, we've got to go away from it? Or do we trust our research, our preparation, to get those things ironed out in the contest?
Well, talking to Zoltan before the game, he did say we play a lot of zone in Hungary, and one of the things we really want to practice at this tournament is our match defense. But first of all, they've got to get on that defense. Kolar Naj picks up the disc. Pastendorf goes to clear out. A little bit of contact in the handler's space. Beraldi claiming he was knocked over by the uprushing Chiba. Judging by the tone, if not the translation of the Italian sideline, they agree.
Yeah, obviously, we're fortunate in that English is the kind of the language of Ultimate, but there might be a little bit of communication problems maybe at times with Italy and Hungary, who do not share that common language.
Kolarnaj didn't like the pass, the initial throw to Pastendorf. Puts up a big one that is taken down by Clement, but there's a stall out called.
Kolarnaj is not convinced that this should stand from the looks of it. It's difficult to see whether it felt like a stall out, obviously, when it comes back in off the check. So, you know, so you don't necessarily have that same mental clock in your head as you do if you've been holding it for, 10 seconds, because obviously you had the discussion in there that took 30 seconds or so, and it does throw that again, the internal clock off balance.
So if this is coming back in, who do you look for? Clement in the dump space, Pastendorf, or do you just launch it all the way downfield to Chilag? Looks like it's Chilag, and he was ready. Got it on the under, big hammer all the way across. Few people underneath. That's a fantastic clean-up catch for the goal. Hungary 7-6.
Just how they drew it up, right? Halas at the back of the end zone, who was 100% the intended target of that hammer. Was 100% not the intended target of that hammer. But did it matter? It did not. Kolarnaj has that connection down with Chilag, and it goes up, and it is very spicy, well contested. But, I mean, full credit to Halas, who just did not refuse to give up on it and got her rewards.
And so frequently you've seen that make the difference in these games. Are you hustling? Are you chasing after the disc? Admittedly, conditions a little bit calmer than they have been at other times during today, such as around this time in the last game.
You mean when the heavens well and truly opened, and it felt like the entirety of the Irish Sea was deposited on us?
You ever had it rain so much that you actually make eye contact with God? That's how emptying the skies felt at the time.
No, I've never had that. But that's probably because I'm a filthy heathen.
It's a great country to get converted in. It's not. Don't do it. As we see Hungary hoping to convert their current lead into a halftime advantage. They started the game on offense, and they have held serve so far. Took a little bit of defensive run, as we've seen a 3-point run from both teams in this game. But like you said, Benji, things very close and the potential to get very streaky at this level. As here comes Italy. Looks like it'll be Poltak picking it up. Immediately, the Hungarians are back to that zone. Barzazzi almost losing his pivot foot. Fantini and Poltak working together. Varotto back to Fantini. And Poltak, he just sat under that one. You can hear the big call from Barzazzi. Slight mismatch in the end zone and an understandable grab.
Yeah. All due respect to Melinda Kolanaj, but I mean, you just look at the differences in stature down there. It'd be like Barzazzi going up against me. Most of the time, I'm not winning that. Let's be real, and just being cognizant sometimes of those size mismatches. And Poltok but it is a well-judged throw because he puts it deep, he gets it out early. It's not too zippy, and Barzazzi just always has position on that one. I'd look at that marking scheme maybe from the Hungarians as to work out how quite we had that come in the end zone. 4 goals so far, over half of them for David Barzazzi, who is not just a star in the making, he is that star already. And we got ourselves a cheeky little galaxy point, Lorcan.
Don't you just love it? It's so smooth and sweet when we get these galaxy points here on the ULTI.TV feed. Big fans of these game makers. The Italians are going to look to get one more break. We know that they can, and steal it right before half-time. But I would have to say I'd be backing the Hungarians to come out here with another set play and look deep almost immediately.
Yeah, it feels like we haven't necessarily seen that so much. In all honesty. Like, they went to it at the start, obviously, and then they shelved it. And obviously we had the big hammer in the last point, but that came after they got it on that high stall situation. So they've taken it away from their game, and I wonder at what point did they decide to just sprinkle that back in?
I'm hoping it's right now, but as long as it comes back at some point in this game. So I'm a big fan of the way the Hungarians play offense, that reckless abandon of youth. But both of these teams right now locking horns and matching passions. At times it felt like the Italians may be in danger of running away with it, but Hungary adjusted, fought back, and are now back in the driver's seat. Wind at their backs, half-time lead just outside of their fingers.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in both of those huddles for this galaxy point. I'd also love to be able to speak Hungarian and Italian to know what was actually said as well.
I feel like you'd be able to interpret a lot of it based on the vibes, but the extra insight the language would provide would be very intriguing. Also intriguing is what the Hungarians are going to come out with. They have Pastendorf. They also have immediately in front Tote. Tote's the one who gets it. Haven't seen too much of him so far in this game. There's down the line. There's the deep shot. Huge bid. But always a bit thrown off. And I think you got to give some of that credit to Baltieri. He put absolutely everything on the line to try and dissuade that pass.
And there were 2 Italian defenders in the area for the deep shot as well. So I'm not sure that was necessarily the right time for it. I think they became a little bit predictable and Italy were ready and waiting.
A lot of trust in Löwig.
Chance for the Italians to get the 2 for here because they will receive to begin the second half.
Oh, and they're just jumping through is Pakshai. Just leaps across, steals the pass, pops it in for the goal to Chiba. I think, man, those numbers really are hard to read when they're far away.
Maybe Tote. I'll have to have a look at it again on the replay. Either way, Galaxy Point goes decisively the way of the Hungarians. Just checked in and just didn't like that one. I'm going to go for the break around. Oh, no you don't. The spacing all wrong, and Tote just catches the easiest of dishes. And Hungary on serve, up 8-7 going into the second half, Lorks.
It might have been an easy dish, but I'm sure he was glad to gobble it up as they're able to hold on to that serve, hold on to their advantage, and move into the second half. Hopefully able to get their first win of the tournament. So where else would you want to be than right here on ULTI.TV as we're going to come back for the second half.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe. ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
and
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
Lovely grab out.
Welcome back to this high-octane action here from the University of Limerick Sports Fields. We are watching two rising stars clash in a supernova affair. Italy against Hungary. Right now, Hungary on serve and holding on. 8-7 to the good. Italy to receive the disc on the offensive side to start the second half. It's been very exciting. It's not just been a simple match of trading. Both teams have had 3-point runs. The Italians the first to do so, to take the lead 5-3, but Hungary were quick to respond effectively immediately, going right back to go 6-5 up, and we've traded since. So lots of action, lots of entertainment, and lots of love in the booth as I am joined by my personal hero on the mic, Benji Rees. Benji, what are you looking forward to in this game?
That's so nice of you to say, because do you know what, Lorcan? I am also my personal hero. Nah, I love you, buddy. Look at us, we're even wearing matching outfits. Disgusting.
Currently stuck on the second level of those outfits. Looking forward to moving on to the third.
Well, that's what the pub later is for.
And if you want to attend that pub quiz, please do join us. We will be where and when?
We will be at the Stables Bar this evening. I can't remember exactly what time we start because I have job to do. But yeah, we will see you there tonight because there is no Limerick Late Night Live from 55 as we will be quizzing, and I have a devious picture round set. I know, I'm don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm actually pretty pleased with it.
Well, I'm sure these two teams are hoping to be just as smug at the end of this game as they are looking for their options. Poltalk, and this is a bit more, I was about to say match, but not really. They're almost poaching off and trying to protect themselves from that shot. Great grab by Fantini, sliding all the way into the end zone. He's got a distance to get back out. Tries to get the pop off to Ruscello, but then just takes it, understandably, to Barzazzi on the other side. Excellent stuff by the Italians to set that deep look up and mess up the switching and the poaching that the Hungarians are trying to apply.
I know that Fantini had that drop ball in the first half, but he's picked himself up brilliantly from it. And again, Poltalk, he can gun it when he wants to. Fantini laying out, I mean, this is perfect layout conditions. You know, it's soft underfoot. You're going to have a little bit of a slide as well, so you look even cooler. And yeah, just good support there from the other Italian players. Getting up the field, had a couple of options, and Barzazzi's only got 4 goals. Why not make it 5?
And Fantini picking up his second assist to go along with it. The Italians in full flight coming out at the start of this second half. But will they be able to convert it to a break? We've seen them do it before. What are you expecting on the defensive side from the Italians now? Because I personally think that they have shown some success with the zone, but I think if you'd be better off just going match, something the Hungarians aren't as familiar with, they're not as comfortable with, than trying to just clamp so you can help out on what is going to be an inevitable deep shot.
Yeah, maybe just have that communication so whoever the deepest Italian defender is aware and maybe can just maybe take a step back. I was going to say, if you can get a line trap, then maybe you have the defender on whichever the far side of from the disc is. Again, just taking a couple of steps off as they are crossing Poltalk over to the D-line here. Maybe to power them, should they get the turn.
So Jiba picks up about halfway. And we know they don't mind sending it deep, and a preferred target downfield is Lurvig, hanging out in that space. Clement with the disc gets it back to Pastendorf. Pastendorf got plenty of a cannon on either side. As the zone starts to contract in and around, eventually they step off and leave that pass to Clement available. Kolernaj goes with a big blade over the top, looking for the correct receiver and finding Chalik on the opposite side. And there's the shot to Lurvig, really well set up by the Hungarians.
Excellently done. They got pressured at a couple of points with high stalls in that zone, but they took the resets that were offered to them, and then again going into the locker, Kolernaj pulling out the blade over the top, judged it to perfection. A couple of times those blades have been sold short or overshot by Hungary, but not on this occasion, and got the head up and knew where the next option was. The force here is very flat, and it allows the big around blade over the top of the defender, and Chilak just has zero qualms about putting that one to Lurvig in the end zone to keep Hungary on top 9-8.
Really effective against the zone. You said they swapped Poltalk over, and I thought that was an interesting decision to swap someone over so they can sit in the rover position almost of that cup in the central part to stop the throws through. But you're saying some of those blades have been undershot, some of them have been overshot. The secret seems to be have Kolernaj throw them, because her throws have been absolutely perfect so far, slicing apart the Italian defense.
She's a bit good.
Just a bit good.
She's a bit good. That's about the highest compliment you can get from Ripper Brick.
That's as much emotion as Benji has ever shown. His cats will be very jealous as Poltalk collects a disc in the middle of the pitch. And goes for the dump back to Varotto. And again, Hungary still sticking with this zone. They don't need to get breaks, I suppose. They just need to kind of wind down that clock. Take up some time, take up some mental space. Force the Italians really think about it. Barzazzi on the far side.
It's really interesting to me that Nicole Lafiata hasn't necessarily been that involved in the game plan for the Italians, because normally when they're doing well, she is a key part of it. But her impact has been relatively effectively minimized.
Not showing up there to get the quick pop and throw it down to Capucci. Well, I'd have to agree with you. Poltak. It's been a lot of Poltak, Barzazzi obviously on the finishing end, as now we're starting to see Lafayette get a bit more involved. Big pass in to Capucci for the goal.
Spacing is really good there for the Italians. You know, they were being allowed those swings, and they weren't just going sideways, but on those swings you can see they're leading players slightly upfield. So they are constantly pushing the Hungarians back and working their way down the pitch, and this is why, you know, especially if you can get a bit of leading shape on it as well, as the receiver's catching it, their eyes are already downfield, so they know what options are developing there, and it means that you can get the disc moving quicker, you're getting into lower stall counts, you're finding maybe tougher options that are only there at the start of the stall, and then close up as the zone moves with you. It's a really well done point there for Italy.
You can see Poltak is going to stay out there, as is Lafayette. So now they're starting to recognize this game. We can't just trade it out. And Hungary are capable of doing that. We need to start swapping some players over. We need to get some stars out there to exert a bit of extra pressure on these Hungarians. They have gotten a few turns earlier in the game. So far, no turns in this half. But they have been able to put some pressure on. The Hungarians done a good job of earning that disc back. So maybe now with a bit more experience, Lafayette and Poltak out there, they're thinking we can get the disc and they'll be able to help us slot us in. Big pull downfield as they try to exert a bit of pressure into the hands of Pakshai. Oh, and a fantastic dropping grab by Saradash. He almost had to do a squat to catch that one from behind him, Pakshai.
Stoppage for a call of some sort. I think just a bit of contact away from the disc. A pick. Radi's going to check it back in.
So Pakshai with the big searing backhand, trying to find Hartai, but overshooting her ever so slightly.
I'm a little surprised that they were in the backhand falls there, because I think generally they're more comfortable throwing those than they are the flick hucks, but overshot it. So Italy will get the disc on the second half's first turnover.
Perhaps Pastendorf was on their mind. We know that she's got a lethal flick huck. I think it's a matter of picking your poison, because in the backfield there's a lot of weapons, a lot of cannons that Hungary can bring to bear against their opponents. But now this is going to be the big one. And a break brilliantly all the way across the Gatti from Poltak, immediately showing off why he's been brought out here. And he wants that other flick break. This time launching it across and into the middle, but there's the bobble. Caught on the second time. Brini, fantastic again in the air. Lafayette?
I think he'd have rather called it first time round, but at least he made it stick.
Verotto, back to Poltak, back to Verotto, back to Poltak. Quick little give goes to gain a couple of extra yards, and there's the blade all the way across to Brini. He gets that one first time, Benj.
That's why you cross Poltak over, because he is such a maestro in the backfield.
He was making some nice music on that play. First the inside flick break all the way down in his own end zone to open things up, and then he started to throw those deeper shots. That one Brini was able to get in the second ask.
And he's happy to, use those bounces through and, gets that pivot forward, absorbs the contact, and then rather than call the foul to stop play, sees the space over, backs himself to get the edge on that flick towards the far side correct. And he pulls it off to put Italy back in front at 10-9. Just the one turnover in the second half. And paid off.
Incredible play. I was so impressed by that final throw by Poltak and how he's able to get it to come out that smooth, that accurate. I mean, you're hitting a sideline. You get that ever so slightly wrong, you're either hitting a Hungarian or you're hitting the next pitch. And the wind...
And the rain has come back now, so getting that upwind break may be a case of just in time.
Can the Hungarians march up against the Italian defense and the now increasing elemental influences?
Every time we've seen a break, in this game. They've put another one in straight away on the concurrent downwind. We'll see if that happens again here, or whether Hungary can work against the elements and the Italian defense.
So now back to a bit more of a traditional D-line. Understandable decision. You bring your stars out there, they handle business. You give them a little bit of a rest. And that disc is out the back of the end zone. So a brick mark, a favourable starting position for the Hungarians. They'll be happy to receive that. Chiba has to go all the way around the metal gate to get the disc, though.
Someone's been trying to make use of the gym here on campus, I see. The wonderful facilities at the University of Limerick.
They really are. It really is Europe's sporting campus, as we can see. Chiba making that march, and if you want to look good when you're making your march, remember, Tokay cleats, the best in the biz for keeping your feet steady no matter what weather is coming down at you. Chiba on the brick mark now. Ragusa marking him. He's just about able to get that across. Fantastic heads-up grab by Farkash. Farkash is under some pressure, but doesn't call the foul either. Gets it to Collar Naj. Now the rain really kicking in. Naj trying to get it across. And there's a lot of poaching, a lot of pressure being exerted, and in the end there's an unfortunate drop. So now the Italians, like you said, hoping to continue that trend and get another break, this time going downwind, and you can see it's starting to get rainy. Those grips may be loosening ever so slightly.
I'm not surprised to see Kolanaj call the veteran timeout, despite the fact that she's 18 years old here. And the thing that does surprise me, though, is Panariello, given that he's just seen two near drops happen, and one of them was an actual drop, surprised that he still went to try and crab catch. I'd be getting everything I could, body behind it, clap catch, give yourself the least possible chance for the drop, because there wasn't necessarily a defender that close.
Well, you can see right now the influence of the elements coming into effect as Hungary are trying to march back up the field right into the weather and tie this game back up at 10s.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe. ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
and
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
So coming off this timeout then, Hungary going with a horizontal 3-4 look, and they've got those handers set slightly back to try and, I think, prevent poaches into the lanes. Kolanaj will have it checked in by Teslaru on the mark.
And surprised it wasn't a blade immediately to the end zone, but get that first pass off. It's the hardest thing to do coming out of those timeouts, I think. So nicely done, able to find Clement.
Foul on the mark.
So coming back in with a fresh 10. Was a little bit clumped initially in front of the handler. Chiba makes a move. Clement's forced to just hang one out there. Chilak gets it on the opposite side. Normally more accustomed to catching it further downfield. Sends that down to Kolarnaj. Kolarnaj looks for options, sends the flick blade. And that one doesn't come off quite like the others.
No, that just never really got going in truth. Curse of the turnout now hits Hungary. It's a thing, people.
It's a real thing. We learned it from the German coaches, although I think Hoagie was giving the credit to Stefan Rapazzo.
Oh mate, the turnout's been a thing for years. I've been firmly banging this drum. I've put a hole in the drum. That's how hard I've been hitting it.
Well, right now, Italy marching to the beat of their own drum and a big shot all the way downfield. They're looking for Puppy, and that dog chases it down.
That's a beauty of a put.
Puppy with the quick reset back. Not forcing anything immediately. Lubisco takes a dump herself. Santriani able to get it back. Again, this is just quick play, and there, another drop. Showing you how difficult it is to corral that disc in these conditions.
Yeah, you kind of think that because it's so tricky, maybe there comes a point where you're that close to the end zone. Is it worth just taking the shot?
Well, there's a shot from Hungary looking for the end zone, but it's drifting the wrong way all the time. Great defensive pressure to clean it up on the other side by Pietro Puppy.
The edge on that is wrong because it's taking it toward the defender rather than away from it. If you got it going towards the far side, the defender there is always on the wrong shoulder, and so your receiver has position.
And another huge deep shot straight away, and again it's really well weighted and collected on the other end. Fantastic throws. Panariello has it, gets it back. Ragusa's making a move, eventually able to get it, not under a huge amount of pressure, directly behind the receiver.
Italy having trouble transitioning into a red zone offense.
Baiocchi gets to Ragusa. Now they're starting to run a little bit of a weave, but it abandons Ragusa. Gets it back to Baiocchi. Baiocchi and Ragusa working well together. Just a little give-go for now. Shot to the middle, and there's going to be a discussion about whether or not that was up. And I got to tell you, I'd side with the Hungarians.
I think that one sneaked through. I'd have to have a look at it again, though, on a replay, which...
We had a similar conversation about this last night. I would have said snuck through.
Yeah, that's down for me.
I don't think she maintains possession the entire way through the roll. So we'll look at it in slow-mo. No.
That's 100% down.
She does not have control of that disc when it touches the grass. As they continue to talk about it, trying to work it out. We do... That was actually perhaps a mistake on our part. Normally we have the TV available for people to review. But as I think you could understand at home, the elements have been somewhat influencing our ability to provide our normal level of pitch side assistance for the players. So it'll just have to rely on spirit of the game to resolve it. And it goes back. Baiocchi.
I think Italy might have got away with one there.
I mean, it happens every now and again. It's an inevitable part of the sport, and all sport, really.
I mean, you always have to trust, of course, that, you know, the call's being made in good faith. She obviously genuinely believes that she had that secured, and a lot of the time it does feel like that, and it's only when you look at it again on a replay that you can be, oh, actually, fair. You know what? I was wrong.
So Baiocchi looking for options and is able to get the quick break inside. Nice patience. And a score for Italy just about.
There's the 3-run for the Italians as we saw in the first half. Last time they went 2 points up. The Hungarians stormed back to take the lead almost instantly. And Hungary are going to have to do that this time. Starting out on offense, going down the wind, then break upwind. And then with the subsequent downwind, there was the D that got it back. A beautiful deep shot. I mean, what a throw that is. And I think in the end, he was able to go right the way down the other end of the pitch to collect the bookend from the restart.
So great work by the Italians. Like you said, Benji, it did look like they struggled a little bit to set their red zone offense. Ragusa and Baiocchi were having to recycle it between themselves quite a lot before things were able to settle down a little bit. Of course, that stoppage in play for the contested down call gave him a chance to just set up, relax a little, and then Puppy to complete the bookends with the score in the end zone. And a nice little break throw from Baiocchi as well.
Yeah, with the stack set far into the centre, and you're close to the break sideline, as you will, you've got a huge inside lane to throw into, and the Italians took the advantage from it.
So a bit of confusion over the gender balance right now for the teams. Hungary now realizing that it is 4 women.
Should be the same as it was last point.
So Kolernaj comes on. Is that Seradash coming off? It really is hard to see those numbers.
It's awful.
I haven't covered the Hungarians that often. I think once before back in 2019.
I'm a little surprised that someone has not given Zoltan a nudge and be like, you might want to think about a redesign.
That's right now, Lafiti launching that one. And we'll see how the Hungarians respond. Will it be in kind as it was in the first half? Kolernaj thinks about launching it a few times. Eventually able to get off. Really nice grab by Pak Shai, and he shoots for the end zone where it is collected in the form of Saloki.
It's almost quite indoorsy, that, isn't it? They get the isolation of that one player. It's the leading throw into space. The defender's on the wrong side, and it means that you can step in. The cutter activates as soon as Pakshai is going to make that grab. So turns around, looks downfield. Oh, look, you're already 3. Throw goes into space. Bang, back on the board for Hungary.
Those continuation plays really impressed from Hungary and showing that while they are young, they have a lot of experience playing together with that vision, looking forward through the years, and right now it's manifesting perhaps a little bit early, exactly what they were hoping to achieve, but now the real test comes. They've risen to the challenge before in this game. Can they do it again, Benji? They are 11-10 down, and they need to get this upwind break. We do not have a huge amount of time left in the game, just 25 minutes, so we are entering the 4th final fatal quarter as we have another look at Morten Pak Shai with his 5 assists and a goal. He's been very impressive so far.
Why is it still 4 female matching players out there? Because we had that last point, and it changes on odd numbered points. So somewhere, somehow, something's gone a little bit awry.
Because this is the 22nd
so you change
point of the game?
Yeah, so you change after when it would be 1-0, for example, and then 2-1, etc., etc. So you change after the first point, and then every other point after that. So you're always changing when the score's on an odd number, as it is now. Did the gender ratio change at half-time when it wasn't supposed to?
There has been a misunderstanding somewhere along the way, but we will leave it up for the teams to work that out amongst themselves, as right now Hungary are focused on getting this big break, and the Italians want to keep them down. Poltok, who's been absolutely stellar in this match so far, and Lafayette, who's really grown into it in the critical stages. But there's the jump through D. Fantastic heads-up play by Saloki, and that's the middle of the pitch. So Pak Shai has the disc. He doesn't want to waste any time. He's shooting it to the end zone, chased down, and just out of reach.
I think even if she had been able to secure the snag, she wouldn't have been in bounds. I think that time Bardzassi and Capucci, I think it was, they just kind of left it for each other a little bit. Pak Shai stormed in there, and I mean, again, he really guns it deep, and I don't think he needed to. I mean, there is separation, but if you have to, I mean, really fire it in that hard, it's in order to make it work, it's probably not a good option, as we got supremely filied there on the sideline, and a misread from Ruscello gives it back to Hungary. Where have I seen this story before?
Is a peculiar one, but history seems to be repeating itself, potentially. Pak Shai gets it in and around the midfield like last time, perhaps a little bit more conservative in his approach. He does as Kolernaj and immediately goes to leader on the outside, but overthrows it, getting a little bit too ambitious. A pick up, a launch, he's looking for Poltok, and the secure hold in the end zone.
How casual was that from Bardzassi, by the way? Just like, pick it up, throw it, almost like he didn't care. Obviously, it means a huge amount, as you can tell from Poltok throwing it in the air in celebration, looking for the leading flick. The Kolernaj, she adjusts, but is never going to get there. And Bardzassi, I mean, I'll just throw it perfectly for a score as we get finnied again on the sideline. Come on, people. There's a 3-meter line there for a reason.
Yeah, you try telling that to these young, passionate Italians as they're watching the team
can
and
someone
teammates they love. Pull off a great grab in the end, and lightning fast response. Like you said, Barzazi, sometimes it looks like he's not even trying, but trust us, he is trying very hard, and his team is benefiting immediately in that instance. So 12-10, and they're able to quell it. Hungary got 2 looks at that one. Pak Shai slow to walk off the pitch, understandably. It was a very ambitious dump pass, and if it had come off, it would have been brilliant, but those inside-out flicks are hard to pull off, even in the short spaces, and to lead someone out of it into the wind like that is asking an awful lot of yourself and of them as a receiver. So Hungary immediately launching it deep themselves. It's a lot of flow, looking for the back corner and past Tendorf, but too far.
Clement looked a little bit frustrated on the field afterwards. Like, well, what else was I supposed to do?
Launching it deep is a big part of their offense, and perhaps going to the well a little bit too often. We have seen them get some give goes, some nice arcing passes. That's an element of their game that they need to develop a bit more. So now, a chance for another break for Italy in the second half. But they've got to march it all the way up. Santarini just launching it deep immediately and able to get it to Gatti. I thought stealing across to get a block was available, but in the end, Brini has it.
I wonder if Lervig thought, I can get here, but I don't know if I can get here without creating unnecessary contact.
So Santorini gets it back to Beraldi. And back to Ferrero. Big layout bid. Very impressive stuff by Clement. He doesn't want to see another Italian break. He's trying to lead his team right now and doing so very effectively. There's the hammer over the top. It's always fluttering, but Clement's able to leap up in the sky and get it for the score and the spike. I'm not going to lie, I don't think he was in.
That's certainly what the Italian player is claiming as well. Nani is the player. I must admit, I'd have to have a look at it again on the second shot. It wouldn't be a turnover, the spike here, because, you know, if a player believes that there's been a goal, then play stops at that point. So it would just still be a Hungarian disc on the end zone line. They are going to have a discussion about it. I must admit, when the hammer went up, I was very unsure about it. I don't know, has that back foot left the ground?
It's a tough one. We're going to have another look. I feel like that back foot just drags ever so slightly. Well, running over is Chiba. It immediately confirms that it's in. Everybody else seems to agree, so they're going to let it go. 12-11.
I still have to another look at it, to be honest. How he looked at it and was like, yeah, 100% in, no need to question it. I'm not quite sure. There is the brilliant block.
Something we can all agree on.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that one.
Incredible.
It's a hell of a bookend from Ferenc Clement.
Yeah, that hammer from Chiba didn't come out too cleanly. Fluttering an awful lot of the way down there, but like the wings of a butterfly, it's beautiful on the other end. And now Hungary trying to raise up their own storm here on the University of Limerick fields to carry them back into this match.
Yeah, they're staying within touch here, but they still need to find those couple of breaks to swing it in their favour.
Might be able to hear that creeping in.
You just going to go and dangle the microphone there, Lorcan?
I got too scared. I had to pull out. But you can see the passion coursing through this whole team. Both sides fighting hard, and that one just a little bit too far. Overthrown.
So much of what Bud Zassi does seems casual. Maybe that one was too casual.
And there, the leading pass. This one much better weighted for Collar Nash. And no hesitation, she shoots for the end zone. And a phenomenal grab. Immediately called in, understandably. Spike that away. Incredible stuff.
That is unbelievable footwork there. I think someone is calling it out. The player who was right there signaled the goal. I must admit, it looked good from my position on the sideline, and that's what she was indicating there. Who's the defender? Lorena Colombi.
So we're going to have another look at Halas chasing this down. Hand out, foot in. That's a goal!
That is 100% a goal, and the replay screen confirmed it as well. Superb footwork. Just got a little bit too just laid back, the Italians, and Hungary struck so quickly. What a toe-in that is from Julia Halas. I mean, look at it again. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it, Lorcan?
Absolutely magnificent stuff. What a game we're getting treated to here in the afternoon, Benji. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. No one else I'd rather be with. And let us know in the chat if you're having as much fun as we are. ULTI.TV bring it to you live, wild and free on YouTube all week long. So you can expect plays just like that. Halas, and the lack of hesitation from Colin Nash.
I mean, Halas, that is certified toe drag swag.
And we're tied up.
We are
12-12.
indeed.
There was a little delay. There was a quick trade in between, but now we're going to see nobody has gotten an upwind break without then following it up with a downwind break in this game. And Hungary looking to get back into it. Poltak has Varotto.
I'm not sure why he didn't do it.
He is really, like you said, the maestro, the conductor, leading them from the backfield. Lafiati. Back to Poltak. Don't be afraid of that hammer, Poltak. Everything else has been coming off for you. Rochello thinks about a deep shot himself. Gets it back to Poltak. And again, Hungary still relying on this zone. Pakshai is stolen through and gotten many a block on it so far. Back to Poltak. Varotto. Varotto doesn't want to send it to Colombi. Instead goes back to Poltak. Varotto doing a good job just standing in that space. There's the blade around to Ruscello. We know Poltak has got those snippy blades. Sits into it to Barzazi. Two options, Varotto. They're working well. The Italians are fluid right now. Colombi. Lafiata on the opposite side, and the quick shot into Barzazi. That is how it's done.
He's being called, he was temporarily being said that it was not in by Todd, but I quickly retracted, and Davide Mori says the Italians are going to need a timeout here. I think that they want to put, maybe get a rest, maybe put a, not a universe line out, but the kind of the quote-unquote kill line saying, we're not going to let this game get any closer. We are going to put a stop to it here.
I think every Italian player on the pitch touched that disc as they worked it all the way up into the slightly lessened wind, but through the Hungarian zone to take the lead 13-12.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe. ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back, everybody, to this beautiful day and this exciting Ultimate. I am Lorcan Murray, and I'm joined by Benji Rees. Benji, why don't you catch the people up if they've made the mistake of just joining us now?
It is a scorcher in temperature and out here on the grass as well. 13-12, Italy trailing Italy leading, I should say, by a single break. They had a 3-point run in the first half to go from 3-2 down to 5-3 up. Hungary responded to go 6-5 back in front, traded out. Hungary held on Galaxy Point in the second half, continued to trade from 9 apiece. Italy punched on a couple of breaks to go 11-9 up, and then Hungary have managed to claw one of those back, but still need another break if they are to finish this contest as the victors and create some three-way tie shenanigans at the bottom end of this pool, with all of these sides already having lost to Great Britain. However, it is a tough ask for Hungary, having carried through that 15-10 loss to Latvia. So I think even if Hungary win, at this point they will still finish bottom of the pool, but it would be a huge confidence booster.
And of course, even with these games carrying over into the power pools, there's still plenty of opportunities to get yourself and your team into the brackets. These are still the first few exchanges of the tournament. And talking to Zoltan before the game, the coach for the Hungarian side, he said, honestly, if we were to get 10, 11 points, we would consider that a victory. They're always building for the future. They're always trying to develop themselves and get more comfortable playing international opposition at the highest level. But I think right now, they won't consider that a victory.
Nope.
They'll consider one thing and one thing alone a victory. And what do you think that is, Benji?
I think it might be a victory.
Well, let's see if they're capable of it. That was a high release bake just about from Pakshay, able to get it across to Pastendorf. But Pastendorf has got a cannon and isn't afraid to fire it. Nice heads-up defensive play in the end by Baraldi.
I think he could tell that the stall count was ticking up and that the shot was going to come there. Beautiful deep put, but the Hungarian defender always comfortably has position.
Sarah Dash proving eponymous on that one as he outpaces Puppy.
I think just too trigger happy there was Panariello, who's the thrower. Sorry, Baraldi. In fact, it's 21, not 23.
Saloki picks it up. And looking for the cut. Pastendorf getting low to collect it. And again, left on a little bit of an island. I think they're trying to run an isolation downfield, and that was always going to be a difficult grab. It was just rising up. And slow to get back up onto her feet is Halas. She had that amazing grab earlier on. Baraldi spreads it across, and here come the Italians. A break here would really be critical. Santorini goes with a hammer over the top. He's taking a leap out of the Hungarian playbook, and he finds Puppy for the score, 14-12.
The plan from the Hungarians was clear. They wanted to set that isolation set up in that wide open space because everyone else was way, way deep. And when it works, they get so much room to clown around in because you can go everywhere and there's not going to be any other defender that comes in to poach. But the risk is that if it is well covered, the force does a good job and puts pressure on, as happened there. You've got no support. It's really difficult to find other options, and Italy played quickly from there. The hammer over the top finds Puppy, and Italy now just one away from the victory. Can Hungary find a 3-point swing? They're going to take a timeout to see if they can do so. I'd love to know what Zoltan's saying here.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Welcome back, everybody, as you join us. Italy 14-12 to the good against Hungary in what has been a back and forth game where both teams have had 3-point runs. So Hungary far from out of it. They need the downwind hold, then an upwind and downwind break, something they have pulled off before. But they've gone up against a very tough Italian side, including Pietro Puppy, who for that D-line has been very impressive so far. Already getting 2 goals, has a block, has been on the finishing end of a few plays, as well as helping things flow once they're able to turn the disc over. So it's going to be a tough ask for the Hungarians just to get this hold, Benji.
Italy have forced Hungary into being very hit or miss off the timeout. Sometimes they've had set plays work like a charm, and other times Italy have shut it down and they've struggled to go to the backup options.
So we'll see. Hungary known for being very much route one, and at this tournament hoping to develop a couple of other options in their offense. Clements with the immediate under. You can understand Brini was poaching off him significantly, expecting the deep look. They shoot it deep. A couple of their favorite targets in the backfield. An incredible grab going for the greatest! Oh, it's unbelievable! They're gonna call it out because of course they are, but Lurvig was in the right position. Insane work by Chiba. We are going to obviously crowd the replay screen to see what happened there.
Just to confirm, when Lorcan says because obviously they are, not because he's saying Italy are badly spirited, but because it did appear that maybe it's not necessarily on the first one, which seems okay. He's got it off in time there, but it's the second effort, I think, that definitely seems out if the first one was not as well. And Italy already marching down the field on the turn.
Heartbreaking. That's probably the most unfortunate, greatest out call I've ever seen.
I mean, fair play for taking it on.
Launches it to Brini, and for the third time in this game, he gets a catch on the second ask. And that is going to be game. Perhaps a little bit deflating. And thank you as well for clarifying that I meant, of course they are. Not in the sense that it was Italy calling it out, but in that basically every single greatest gets called out for review. What a response by Italy, though. They agreed very quickly that was going to be a turnover. Heartbreak for Lurvig. Chilag put in an incredible effort to pull it back in. But then the way Italy just stormed back up the pitch. As we have another look, you can see Chilag makes an exceptional play, using every ounce of his physicality.
I mean, that foot might be out when he takes off. It's a little bit difficult to tell. That one, I think there is less doubt about. I mean, fair play. Like, I want to swear because, I think you know the phrase I want to say, but you can't, obviously. But, I mean, just the gumption to try and take that off is unbelievable and just difficult, I think. Got to react so quickly to keep yourself in bounds, but tough for Hungary. And then to end it down the other end like this, Brini again coming up clutch with the second effort. And Steph Rapazzo, I think, has manhandled David Barzassi out of that Italian circle. So he is going to hop on and join you in a split second, Lorcan.
You can stay on and ask an interview.
Benji's going to give you this headset. Okay, thank you.
So thank you very much for joining us, David. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you.
And incredible performance last week as well for yourself, but now you're leading this mixed team. We have to ask, what is the approach for such a young mixed side offensively coming into this tournament?
I don't know. In the mixed, I don't know now, sorry. Repeat another question.
No problem at all. So how have you guys prepared to come here to the highest level of European Ultimate?
We play in Windmill, very good tournament, and we play in the four, but it's not good, but it's okay. Sorry, repeat. I'm not ready now for the game. I'm focused in the game.
Well,
okay.
How is the team feeling after that game? We knew coming into today you had to refocus following yesterday. How do you feel after that?
Sorry, repeat.
How do you feel after that performance?
For yesterday, very too much wind, but today is easy. But the Hungary, very good player and a very young player. But in the second half, the Italian player, my team, have focus and good intensity for the win. And now we are happy, no?
Understandably very happy after winning. So what are your plans, shall we say, for going forward in this tournament?
Now, chill in this day. I have one game today, and studying another team to Mori. And tomorrow, I don't know, is a crazy day. We're ready. Yeah.
Well, you certainly seem ready, closing out that game in emphatic fashion, moving so quickly up the pitch. Thank you so much for joining us, and we
Thank
cannot
you.
wait to see what you guys do the rest of the week.
Thank you very much. Bella.
That was David Barzazi from the Italian mixed team. An incredible performance, and they were able to take control of that game throughout the second half after going in at halftime 8-7 down. So we have a quick look here for ourselves at the two teams embracing afterwards. A real battle of young talent. Benji.
Yeah, having a look there at the game stats powered by Force Sportswear. 15-12 the final score, with Italy pulling away at the end. 6 breaks compared to 3. Their offense was generally a little bit cleaner as well, and that's really borne out in the break chances. Hungary had 6 and they converted half of them, and, you know, while Italy only converted a third of their break chances, the key was that they created 3 times as many, and you just even if your D-line offense could improve, you're just giving yourself so many opportunities to make one of them stick.
So coming into today, the Italians wanted to reassess themselves and reposition themselves for the upcoming week, and I think they've done so very effectively in what was a beautiful and challenging game for both sides, full of runs, streaks, breaks, and brilliant young performances.
I mean, there were some unreal plays. It is a highlight reel that is well worth watching, and both sides more than played your part in that. You know, they say it takes 2 to tango, and while all credit goes to Italy for taking out the win, Hungary were a more than capable dance partner for them.
And what an enjoyable show they put on for all of us. What an enjoyable show we're going to continue to put on for all of you.
Yeah, we've got 4 more games coming up. So at 3 o'clock on this pitch, we've got Germany versus Belgium in the women's division over on field 10 behind us. Switzerland versus Poland, women's division action. And then field 11 here finishes today with Germany versus the Czech Republic in the mixed division. While over on field 10, Italian fans, you can come and watch the open team being streamed for the first time this week, taking on the Czech Republic in the power pools. And I am very excited to be bringing you that one.
You have every reason to be, as we have seen back and forth action on this pitch just now across all the fields, and it's going to keep going all week long. So for Lorcan Murray, for Benji Rees, and for our whole crew here at ULTI.TV, thank you very much for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
Let yourself unfold. Yeah. Let yourself unfold. Owe it to yourself today. Just try to open up and show someone you care. It might not be intentional, but you seem scared. Just try to open up and let it lead somewhere. Breathe in some love. Let yourself unfold. Breathe in some love. And let yourself unfold. Open up, just spread your wings and jump to rise, not fall. You flying higher. You jump to fly higher. Open up.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.
Lay down on the ground just to find out. You fly so fly, don't you? Keep riding skies to yourself today. Just try to open up and show someone you care. It might not be intentional, but you seem scared. Just try to open up and let it lead somewhere. Breathe in some love. for blame.